And take two. Good morning. I didn't even get this far on the first take. I doubt you even knew, except maybe you got two notifications. But I came to the screen on the first take and it was totally black, which means the camera didn't turn on. I have no idea why. All I did was unplug it, plug it back in. We're all set to go. I feel like I check everything before I start. There was a period of time a couple months ago where I just got on stream. I never had to check anything. I never had to mess with anything. And lately, it's just been terrible. And I blame updates, right? They update something and then it wonks something out for me. So, happy Tuesday. How's your week going? Mine's okay. Um, it's pretty quiet, right? We're not doing too much right now. I've had a very, very productive morning, and I'm going to talk about that now. Before we get into our little bit of crafting, I apologize, but I have two more tear open areas in a lace tablecloth that I was repairing before that, I don't know, either they happened through the washing process or I missed them. I want to get those done. And then I am officially done with that linen project, which seemed to go on forever. But this morning, I washed fleece. And I want to talk about washing fleece because I probably will highlight this little bit and keep it on my page so that it's a teaching thing, right? It's like what I used to do with the podcast. And unfortunately, I'm still not to the point where I can actually show you washing fleece. I never could show you anything in podcast. I had to explain everything. Now, I have to explain everything, but at least you see my face, right? It's like a person talking to you instead of this voice out of the void. Anyway, washing fleece is something I have been doing for years and years and years because I am a fleece addict. I cannot avoid buying fleeces, and I have so far this year. That is my goal. Don't buy a fleece, right? Process what you got. I probably have about 6 yet to process. I am processing one from many, many years ago that I had stored in a cardboard box upstairs. It had not even been skirted. I've learned so much, and I have time to do the stuff I need to do right away. And what happened was I hit that point pre-pandemic when I retired, and instead of starting with the oldest fleece, which is what I should have done, I started with the fleece that was at hand. And I kept doing that, right? I'd go to fleece fairs, I'd buy fleeces, I'd wash them, and I never got to the ones that I had stored, which is do as I say, don't do as I do, right? This is not a good thing. I'm okay with it because of 2 reasons. I know I didn't spend a lot of money on this fleece. Fleece has become expensive over the years that I've been doing this. Fleece was very inexpensive when I started doing this 15, 16 years ago. Okay. This fleece, I believe, is about 8 years old, I believe. But it could have been 2017, which would have been. I went looking in my records for it. I really didn't find when I bought it. I know from my past memories of when I was shopping during that time, I only had one fleece fair that I went to, and that was the Greencastle in Indiana. And I only bought from 2 vendors. One was a sheep breeder called Robert Milliken, and the other one was Denise Fleeces. So it's one of those 2. I believe it's a Milliken fleece. It's a Shetland. I have no guarantee that it's 100% Shetland. I have, This all has happened. When I was first buying fleece, they would just say Shetland, and that was it, right? The only thing that hasn't changed is you still buy fleece in the grease. That hasn't changed. And so this fleece was in the grease. So this is how I handle this. And I don't believe I'm going to lose very much of it. I think I'm going to be a little disappointed in the softness of the fleece. This is something that's a little hard to judge with lanolin on it. You can only go by pedigree and that sort of thing. And breeders that you're familiar with, they usually have the better fleeces. And buyer beware, if the fleece is under $20 for 8 pounds, that's not a good fleece, right? You know that you're getting a lower quality fleece. The breeders have become aware of higher quality and that their market will give them better price. Hi, Carowin's mom. Long time no see. And Enchanted Stitches. Good morning, both of you. Bear with me a little bit. I am talking about how I wash fleece to get it ready to spin. So we're doing just a little bit of teaching here this morning because I want to highlight this, and then we'll go on to the making of Christmas ornaments. So, yeah, when I was on stream the other day, I was pulling locks from this fleece. Remember that? Pulled the locks off and set them aside, and everything else that wasn't an intact lock went into this bag. And I did weigh both of them. The entire amount of this non-washed fleece was just under 4 pounds. So it's not like a big amount. I wash in my kitchen sink, and I can put about 1.5 pounds in the kitchen sink at each batch. So consequently, I still have one more batch to do. I did 2/3 of the bag this morning. There are 2 things you want to do with fleece from a sheep to get it ready for processing, right, before you spin. 1, you want to get the dirt off, and 2, you want to get the lanolin off. Now, there is some disagreement in the community about getting the lanolin off. Some people prefer to spin what they call in the grease, and that means they leave the lanolin on. I can't stand that. I want clean wool, right? Fiber when I spin. It's just my thing. For all my country life and all my spinning experience and all that, that is the one thing I can't stand, greasy fleece, spinning with it. So part of what has happened though is we started out our spinning lives long time ago with a very little choice of soft wool, right? What soft wool, merino and all that being, I'm talking in the 70s when spinning was getting its revival, which of course is when I started getting the spinning bug. But anyway, the merinos and all that was commercially raised, and it went straight to the wool industry, the wool mills, for our wool clothing, right? There was no such thing as a hand spinner flock. Then all of a sudden, spinning got all grown up, and everybody wanted wool. And the people who had small farms realized that they had a market, and they started raising what they called spinner flocks. And there were a certain number of breeds available, like the meat breeds, like Cheviot and Suffolk and that sort of thing. And then they started getting sheep from Britain, where they did have more breeds, and like Border Leicester and Lincoln's always been an American, but what I'm saying, the British breeds started coming over here, and the spinner flocks got more diverse, and they got a lot smaller micron, which meant it was softer, right? They were breeding that way. They liked a ram because they thought, or were spinners themselves, and they liked the softness, and they used that ram with whatever. You get your crossbreeds, but you get softer wool, and that was the goal. So we now have the concern of getting the higher lanolin off of the wool than we used to, because there's a lot more of the higher lanolin genetics in the spinning flocks. Romney and the Border Leicester, and there are lower lanolin breeds and higher lanolin breeds, and the spinner flocks is getting more and more. So consequently, you have to get that lanolin off if you don't like spinning with the lanolin. And like Carowin's mom just said, it does. It's sticky, right? And it holds on to the vegetable matter too. This is what I've never understood. If you are buying a fleece that has been coated and the animal never got hay on it, it makes sense. But it doesn't, right? Because I've got a picture on the next one where I go, and the next scene that I go to, and you can see the flecks of vegetable matter in it, because I have a picture of the washed wool. Anyway, to do this is my process. We have a pretty high set high water heater. In other words, I heat my water hot, and we recently had a problem with our water heater, and even the shower was like, you couldn't even turn on any cold water. It used to be I had to have hot water and cold water in order to take a shower comfortably, but I didn't even need to turn on the cold water. And I kept telling hubby, the water heater is wrong. Something's wrong. And I thought the water heater was going, and he thought maybe one of the elements had gone. But all he had to do was go out there, and for some reason, the settings just needed pushed up. He said he thinks that after a while, if you leave your water, a setting like that on the same spot, it kind of burns out, right? It's not like our thermostat for our furnaces where we're constantly adjusting. It's been there forever, right? Not forever, but a long time. So he thinks maybe that's what happened. Well, all of a sudden I had really hot water. I was like, yeah, this is what I need. And now I can wash fleece, and I happen to have that fleece ready. So I'm very happy about that. So very first thing, I said you have to get the dirt off and you have to get the lanolin off. The very first thing I do is draw a sink full of not cold, not hot, very comfortable to my hands, some warmth water, and whatever I can fit into the sink wool wise goes into that water, and it doesn't soak very long, right? You're doing two things. You're getting the wool completely wet, soaked through, and you're washing off as much dirt as you can. And the reason it doesn't stay in that sink full long is that water turns to mud. Literally, this fleece did not look dirty. It didn't have dirty tips. I mean, it didn't look dirty, but that water was as brown as mud of that first sinkful. This is why I don't waste soap on the first wetting, right? I'm just washing dirt off. It doesn't need soap to wash the dirt off. A lot of people don't even use soap at all. They do a multiple water process, but I'm getting into that in the next step. So anyway, what I do is I pull the fleece back away from the drainer, and because I have the kind where I put the old-fashioned drain stop in, and then I switch that drain stop to what I bought, which is a little tiny mesh strainer that fits right in the sink drain, right there. And the reason hubby asked me to do this because of the possibility of a lot of fleece going down the drain. Right now, that has never happened for me, but I'm fine with this, and it captures a lot of little pieces of fleece, which I wouldn't think would be a problem, but you never know. So I made hubby happy by using this all the time. So that dirty water drains out. I basically flip it to the next sink and squeeze out all of that dirty water that I can, and I start drawing a second very warm sink full of water. It's I can put my hands in it, but you know what I'm talking about. It is when you're washing dishes by hand in very hot water, right? This is what gets the grease off. And I put a wool wash in. Now I have two kinds of wool wash that I use. Wool shampoo. Oh man, I may have to post this in Discord because I cannot remember the name of the lady that does the wool shampoo. I used to know that because I've done podcasts on both of these products. And I have the other one that is more readily available here, like at the Woolery and that sort of thing. I got this at the Woolery. It's called Kookaburra. Okay, Kookaburra wool wash, and I use Kookaburra today. I've been using the Kookaburra for not if I have a really severely dirty fleece, I will use the wool wash. It's called Scour the Scoundrel is what it is. In other words, it was made for really, really dirty fleeces. So I don't use that for everything. I get the Kookaburra out and put a good healthy amount in there, and I cannot say how much I have because that's going to vary with your sink and everything. But the nice thing about Kookaburra is that it just like rinses away right away. I mean, it doesn't seem to hang on at all to the wool, which I really like. And I let it sit in there 15-20 minutes. I don't want the water to cool down. I want the water to stay hot. And by starting out real hot, it is now moderately hot. And so anyway, once I do that, then and it's soaked, then again I just pull it back, drain it out, flop it over to the other sink, and clean that sink out, and put the pretty much temperature that the wool is. The wool, you can feel it's going to be still kind of warm. You're not going to do it as hot as what it was for that middle washing sink. It's going to be more cooler based on your wool, but as many years as I've been washing fleece, I have never had what I consider a fleece that got shocked and felted or whatever. They make a big deal about not changing temperature. I think you would have to actually boil the fleece and then put it in ice water for it to happen. To be honest with you, I have never seen that happen or have any kind of problem that way. But I still don't go too much difference in the temp. I try to match it a little bit. Because there's always that first time, right? There's always that first time. You have used Dawn. Carolyn's mom, you changed your color. To get the lanolin out of the really bad ones, but I usually use Orvis paste or something like Euclid. And I have not used either one. I think I used Orvis once. I mean, I didn't remember it being a paste. But that's interesting because really I ought to go ahead and try some of the others too. It's been a while since I did any kind of fleece study like that. I don't wash that many. The Kookaburra was a great big bottle, and it's lasted me a long time. I used to use Dawn, okay, and I agree with you on really bad ones. I agree with you, but I have had fleeces 6 months to a year down the road after washing that they were brittle after I used Dawn. And I don't know. I got tired of green. Oh, you got tired of the green color. Okay. Orvis was fairly cheap from a livestock store. Okay, thank you. I do remember that. They, yeah, wash, okay. They probably wash sheep before a show in it. You know, probably. As well as other animals, but I never thought about that. um, yeah, we have livestock stores around. So anyway, after I have one rinse. Now, the number of rinses depends, right? On if I was using Dawn, I had to rinse 3 or 4 times. It just seemed like the Dawn wanted to stick on the fleece, and if I use the Kookaburra, it rinses out right away. If I use too much of the Wool Wash Scour the Scandrel, if I use too much of that, I have to use multiple rinses. But it just you can tell if they're still soaked there. When you squeeze the water out, right, it'll be soapy, right? You want to squeeze the water out and not see that. Then I have these great big mesh bags. I should have brought one in with me, but they tie at the top, and I mean, when I put 1.5 pounds of fleece in there, I'm only putting in about this much compared to a bag that's way big. But I tie it shut, and I do 2 bags so that there are balanced for the washer, and my automated washer on the spin cycle. About half of the spin cycle will take out so much of the water from the wool that then I can take it out of those bags and put it on a mesh drying rack, which is what you're going to see the picture of. It's on the mesh drying rack. And it'll dry in a day, especially right now. It's very, very dry. So that's how I wash fleece, and I wanted to make sure I maybe get that. I have a lot of highlighted things on my page on Twitch, and I don't remember exactly what I have. Whether I have one about washing fleece or not, but I thought maybe it might be time to do that. So today, the very first thing I'm going to do, I apologize, but I've got 2 areas on a tablecloth that I'm going to sew up. I've been mending linens and washing linens, and this was the last one I washed, and I noticed 2 more places, and I want to get this done. And then we're going to make some Christmas ornaments. So let's go over to, let's see if this camera is going to work. There we go. This is the tablecloth. This is the area I'm going to sew right there. Unfortunately, and also if you look over that way, right below me, that is a picture of the wool, the Shetland, on my drying rack. And the drying rack is hanging on the shower curtain rod in the bathroom, right? The only reason I don't hang it outside, a lot of times it's too windy and it'll just blow, especially as it gets dry. But the other thing is, it's just, things can get into it. And at least I feel like, and then usually I'm doing it, drying it inside because it's real humid outside. It's not going to dry anyway. It's got to be in here where the air conditioning's running or whatever. All right, let me get my needle and thread here. Do I need my light on? Yeah, I think that helps a little bit. But yeah, I feel real productive this morning. It was nice. I was kind of in a slump for a while there. I just didn't want to do nothing. I figure probably I just needed the rest. I never know when I need rest, I think. We planted a whole bunch of flowers in pots for our front porch yesterday. I went to get flea medicine for Newman. It's drops that go on the back of his neck, and I swear the extrasensory perceptive cat knows he's supposed to get him on there. He has refused to sit on my lap today. That's usually when I put him on, if he's sitting on my lap. So, yeah, unfortunately, I haven't gotten him on him yet. Anyway, I went into town yesterday to get that from the vet, and I went to Lowe's, and I bought flowers. Do I want double, or I think single's okay. You've been in a slump too. You think it's your job. I put in your notice. Oh, fair. Okay, well, good luck. If you want to find another job, are you at the point where you don't need to immediately? I hope that you find something better. It's so hard to have to grudge through a job you don't like. You know, talking about mending, I was checking my spin-offs, which are digital, yesterday, and realized my subscription had expired. I missed 2 issues, the spring and summer. So I was taking care of that and got that set back up. They went through a lot of changes. You know, they're not Interweave Knit anymore. Our Interweave Knit is part of somebody else now that they may be part of, I don't know, but it's called Long Thread. And so, you know, what they're doing now is you get an app for your Apple device, which is really nice, because I don't like to sit here at the computer to read a magazine. I want it on my iPad. And now I have all my issues on that. I'm trying to decide, this is really... whether to sew that in there or leave it out. I think I'll sew it in. So there's a clump of fibers there is what it is. Anyway, I got that all sorted out. I got the app on my iPad. I got my issues that I own downloaded, and I got the current summer issue as part of that, but I haven't gotten the spring yet. I don't know if I'm going to try or not. Anyway, I was looking at the current one, and they have it's all about mending, which, you know, is kind of interesting. Not exactly spinning, but I learned a number of things. One, I'm not been mending right at all as far as what they call invisible mending, because there is a little thing you buy that has metal hooks on it that there's like 10 metal hooks that come down, you know, from a piece of fabric, and they're small, they're not big, and you make like a weaving loop, right, back and forth with what you are sewing over. The hole you're sewing over is at the bottom, these hooks are at the top. That gives you your warp, and then you do your mending, right? And some people are using the whole process as a decorative procedure, you know, for things, which is where they were including the hand spun yarn. So anyway, I was intrigued. I had not ever seen one of these mending looms. I've kind of heard of mending looms and never looked into it. And my friend, who is my spinning friend that lives nearby, is very much into mending too. So I want to get together with her too and say, hey, do you have one of these? Do you know about this? I think she's currently traveling on vacation right now. So, yeah, just putting, broken areas back together, holes, fill them, is one thing. Um, Technically, this right here, I should do with like a mending loom, right? So I weave in threads instead of just sewing it together. Now, the tragedy of all this is I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to be keeping this intact as a tablecloth. You can see all the lace motifs and everything, and unfortunately, the brown, whatever it was, I think it was coffee that got on it and stained it, did not come off with all of my efforts. I threw everything at it. I threw OxyClean at it. Everything but bleach. I did not actually use bleach. They just keep saying don't use bleach on old linens. That I decided not to. Now, I will say it smells amazing from all this stuff because it was so musty. It was really musty. So it definitely fixed that. It smells wonderful, clean, and nice scent. But it does still have its brown spot. And I don't know exactly where that brown spot shows on the table. I have not yet actually spread it out on the table. So it may go up to my sewing room, and the lace gets used, the lace motifs get used in other ways, which is certainly a viable solution. I just feel kind of bad because it's very, very pretty. I really like it. Lemon juice and sunshine. The area is so huge. It's not huge, but I can't imagine that it's going to work. Well, hubby says you can be a housewife for a while. That's nice. Yeah, the Speed Weaver. You picked up a couple of them? You haven't tried them yet? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they look intriguing, don't they? I will say, though, when I go for mending like this, I'm trying not to make it obvious. It seems like the whole theory of those are, make it part of a design. Close to it. I'm brushing against something there. So the next thing I need to do, well, I have one more batch to wash. I'll do that in another day or towards the end of the week. But I have a 6-pound Border Leicester fleece, and I need to pick it apart. What I realized was this fleece didn't get picked apart. You know, I'll post this picture on Discord too so that you can enlarge and look at it. You can see there is so much vegetable matter, and you can get a lot of that out if you pick this fleece before you wash it. But I have to pick the fleece after I wash it. I get so tired of picking fleeces twice. I tried it this way, especially because I opened it up quite a bit by pulling those locks out, right? But there is so much vegetable matter in there. I will comb this, I think. A lot of that vegetable matter will fall out if I card it. It kind of depends on the... It's long enough to comb. It depends on whether it is too long to card. My drum carder. That's what I don't know. I'll try a sample bat. You also have a vintage sewing machine sock darning hoop thing you've never tried. Oh, that's interesting. Never seen that either. I have not done all the holes in this, but I am not going to. Especially if I decide I'm not going to use it as a tablecloth. Keep putting my table leg on it. Yeah. I think an awful lot of these holes came up after I washed it. It is that fragile. I don't know. I'll put it on timeout for a while and think about whether I want to mess with the lemon juice and sunshine. I don't have a good place to put it outside for that. I'd have to lay it on the grass, and we are constantly mowing, so there's constantly loose grass around. Yeah, the perks of formerly working in an antique shop. Ooh. Oh, there's been a lot of jobs I wish I'd had, but never did. Probably a good thing. I didn't know you could check what you have in Pokemon. Let me say that. I already looked it up once, but I was actually looking. Oh my gosh. Twitch wants me to sign in again. I am having so much trouble with Twitch. Oh wait, I don't want to join. I want to log in. Okay. Oh, now it sent it to my phone. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Alright, I am not doing it right now. I can't post it in the chat, though. I'm just lucky I'm streaming. The trouble I've had with Streamlabs and Twitch. Okay, these are what I'm making. You probably, if you may have seen them before. There are two of the different. I mean, there are different designs, but there are two of the designs. They don't have to put them back to back. In fact, I don't think I will. I think I'll put the backing on them and just have more. But I'm in the process of making this one. And I need to find my instructions here. This was a kit from either Hirschner's or Mary Maxim. All right. What am I doing here? 4B. Cuff and mitten. I was working on the boots and cuffs. Okay. Oh. You know, I don't have all the pieces here. This is the pattern pieces. I wonder what happened to the other boot. I should have a boot somewhere on the black. There's bead. Guess I didn't cut it out yet. Okay. It's hard when I put it down and forget where I'm at here. Excuse me. The part I like the best about these are putting the sequins on. I like that part. This part's so fiddly. There we go. But you don't have to be real finicky about the sewing. Most of it doesn't show. And if it's going to be hanging on a tree, it's not going to show. Well, need to bring the camera down more. Sorry. Do that and get closer. There we go. Now I'm going to need another boot cut out. But these scissors are pretty awful. I don't think I'll use these for the felt. These are not my good ones. These are really old craft scissors. Just little ones. Should have been embroidery, I suppose, but okay. What scissors do I want? Oops. Got that to sit out off of there. Have a Bigfoot. The white is all pre-printed because it has dots on it for where the sequins go. The other felt just came as a piece of felt in the kit. And I'm tracing the pattern off of a pattern sheet. I'm using wax paper. Okay. First, I am going to sew the foot on. I'll run out of thread here. Oh. I'll make it up. Wish there was an easier way to make a knot in thread. My fingers don't want to do it very well. Alright, I'm sewing this with white thread because there's a cuff over it. It won't matter. I just realized I should have sewn the top of that other cuff. I didn't. I might catch it when I put the... There's a white part that goes on for his belt buckle and all that. I'll catch it then. Go ahead and sew this one on. Ugh. My thread would stay threaded if I used double and knotted it at the bottom. It would stay threaded if I didn't use such a big eye on my needle, but that's how I can thread it. Yeah. Push the needle in your finger. Come on. Sew this to this. Alright, we got the boots and cuffs done. Now pin the white suit trim, that's what I thought. That's next. Belt and buckle to suit. I started these when I was down at my mom's place, and when I'm down there, I have nothing else to do, right? Only thing crafting wise is if I bring it with me, knitting or anything. And so I make a lot more progress when I'm down there than I do up here. Whoop, don't throw that away. Okay. Now this goes for his belly. Wait a minute. Is the head go on? Nope, it's next. Where's my picture? He looks... I don't have the other arm, that's why. He looks... Oh, it's got, yeah, it's got the toy bag over this arm. Alright. Anyway, this is actually supposed to probably go back behind here a little bit, like that. Alright, white thread.
No, 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 no. For a while I was trying to do the stitch that you do along the edge. And I didn't like the way it looked at all, so now I'm just doing small tiny stitches across area on top, surface stitches. Something I haven't done on this Tuesday craft day for quite a while is paint on those cards with that puff-like paint. Maybe I'll do that next Tuesday. I enjoy it. Just haven't thought about it. You know, I think I was talking in the last stream, because it's been our whole life right now, about a gray kitty that I've named Twitch, trying to make it a part of our, trying to make itself a part of our home. living on our porch and unfortunately picking a lot of fights with my cat Newman. Well, we have a second cat. We have a yellow cat that is about the same size. And it's been hanging around too on the porch because it found the food. Oh, and I have to tell you a funny thing. Hubby just does not get cats at all. He's lived with cats as long as he's lived with me because I've always had cats. But, so we have a food and water bowl out on the porch. And he put food in it for the gray cat, Twitch, and saw the yellow cat hanging around and decided he didn't want to feed the yellow cat. Like, maybe if he didn't feed it, it'd go away. And so he came in and told me. He says, I put the food up on the table. I can hear you all laughing that no cats, you know. I looked at him and I said, that is not going to stop a cat that wants food. It's going to get up on that table. And, you know, we have a standard, it's not a picnic table, but it's a patio table out there. And that's what he put it on, so it's not, the cat can jump right up on it. I was like, and sure enough, I looked out there and the bowl is on the table and it's completely empty of food. The cat did get up there and eat it. Could even have been the gray cat doing it. Anyway. So, now I finally got hubby to agree. It took some convincing. He did not want me to do anything about this gray cat. And I said, I checked with the Humane Society. Our Humane Society will not take animals and rehome them. Their policy in our small county is they will neuter them and they will release them to the same area that they're used to. And so, you know, that doesn't solve our problem, right? And it's interesting because we got Newman from a Humane Society, and I believe the next county over, which is where we got it, the bigger city, probably does. And I don't know if they would take it if we aren't a resident. I didn't really call them. I didn't want to get into that. I was trying to find out what our county does. And that's what they do. They take them, they neuter them, they vet them if they need to, worm them or whatever, and then they bring them back. and hubby he got furious when he heard about that. He thinks that's the most ridiculous thing ever. The Humane Society is supposed to find another home for him. Well, that was a couple weeks ago when I called, and finally last night, after much more conversation, we've been talking about this for weeks, I keep telling him, I think if we neuter the cat, it will probably, even if it doesn't come into the house and live, it will probably calm down and not pick fights with Newman. So, I have no guarantee of that, but, and it's so funny because Newman is 9 pounds, and I believe Twitch probably weighs about 4 pounds. I mean, he's just like all spit and vinegar, right? I guess he's fighting for his place on the porch, but he loves us. He gets up on our lap. I heard him purr first time yesterday, sitting in my lap. I was scratching. He loves to scratch between his ears. I was scratching his head, and he purred, right? Gets up in hubby's lap. And hubby's so funny because you can tell, I don't know why some men don't get cats, but they treat them like dogs. So I know the cat was in his lap, and I hear hubby going, sit down, sit. And then later lay still. Cats don't do that.
They don't take commands, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I dreamed about cats last night. I should look at my dream book and see what dreaming about cats means. But in my dream, I had 3 or 4 cats walking, around me that I perceived in my dream were my cats. And I turned around and looked behind me, and a whole litter is coming up to join them. And I'm like, I think that's when I woke up. I mean, that's the end of the dream, but it was like, oh,
Man, I know. My poor brain is trying to figure out what to do. Alright, we need to do the belt and buckle.
cats sometimes take suggestions, usually if they're food related, yeah. Yeah, I know cats well. I've said I was a mama cat in a previous life or something because cats, I am a cat magnet. Even my parents said that as a child. Cats would come to the house. Doesn't seem to be enough room for the buckle here. Pretty sure it goes right there. Alright, what did I do with my other thread colors? Hopefully they're in the basket here. So I do need black for this. Oh, I have black up here. Yes, it's right there. Gave me thread that seems more like embroidery thread, but it works. Is there more than one strand there? I think there is.
I don't think I'm supposed to separate this. Looks too thin otherwise. Okay. I can always get thread if I need it, if I don't have enough in this kit. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to sew this cuff down while I still had white here. This felt is so thin, the knot just goes right through. Crazy. Sorry. Just thinking about it made me sigh, but I was thinking about after I get done here, change clothes and do a bunch of outside work. It's still pretty hot out. We've got gorgeous weather coming. A whole week of it. But all I got to do is pot 2 flowers that I bought for the back step. And then I told hubby I'd mow part of what we mow this afternoon. He's out there mowing now. We mow so much that we literally really never stop mowing. We may go a day or two, but then, we have to start over again with a section. We probably mow, it's not all one big block, but we probably mow about 2 acres. I should go ahead and get the buckle here. Sew it on while I'm here. Where's my pattern? Uh-oh. Does it go on top? Oh, you put a sequin in there. Alright. So I need a gold sequin. I don't have gold sequin. Do I have another thing of sequins? Maybe I do. Let's see. It's been so long since I worked on this. Yeah, I did. I put them in a bag. I have a dark and a light green sequin, so I had to separate them. I'll sit there one day and pick the colors out. Oh God, I go through this every time. Trying to put a sequin on. Forget how to do it. Oh, I know why. I always forget there's a bead. That's what holds it in place. Okay. Go back down through the bead. I always forget that. Oops, where'd the bead go? Oh, here I'm going to go through my needle. Oh, come on. Oh my God. Okay, let's find a thinner needle. I think I'd rather be spinning. Oh, for Pete's sakes. It's gonna be hard. This eye is tiny. There it goes. Okay. Give me a bead. There's a bead. I think I'd rather be painting ornaments too. I've done that. I have a fair number of those on my tree. Made special ones for each family member, and that was fun. I have one more Christmas painting project to finish. It is a carousel. It's to sit on your tabletop, not haven't painted on that for a while. My paints may not be any good anymore. Okay. Belt and buckle is done. Beading needles are a thing, yes. I know. I have a number of needles on my craft box here that are needle holder thing, whatever. It's this, right? And it's a box. This is padded, and that has my needles in it. Cute. Got that in an auction. You know, when auction lot, when I buy stuff, crafting supplies in the lot. That was one thing I got. Okay. Well, now we're going to sew the head on and make the other arm, which is still to do yet. So we're going to get rid of the black. I think I'll just get rid of that needle, or the whole needle, and go back to this needle. All right. Let's see, does this beard go over the belt or not? No, leaves a little bit up of the, just like that. I think it's saying it should go like that. So I was obviously thinking about Christmas because I was thinking about I would be working on these. And I was looking around the living room and realizing that where the Christmas tree will go now has a big basket full of fiber that needs processed, like drum carded, or it's been washed, it needs drum carded, or combed. So that needs to be done before Christmas, and before November 1st. But I am going to make it a goal to get it done before September 1st. And I was trying to decide whether I wanted to process during Tour de Fleece. I said I wouldn't because I have so much to spin, which means I think I'm going to split it in half. And I'm going to work on it in June before the tour. I think I'm going to split it in half and take a look at what needs carding and combed. Carding is harder for me. I have to stand up. Combing is easier. I can sit down and do it at a table. I know this looks lopsided because his other arm isn't there, but it'll look better after we get his other arm on there. Okay, so let's do that next here. Form other arm by sewing mitten to cuff, cuff to sleeve, mitten to cuff. Mitten is light green. So this is the mitten. Oh, I gotta look and see which way this glove goes. Let's see. Probably up, but let's see. Actually, it goes this way. It's gonna be right there. Alright. Now I gotta make my red sleeve before I sew it all together. I wonder if that's right. No, it's more like that. That looks disjointed. Let's see here. The thumb is up. The cuff's right. This needs to go yeah, I think that's more right. I don't- Oh, okay. Gotta sew this together first. And a stretch break. As soon as I get this. Okay.
Oh man. Mm. Hey, look at that. He's looking good. How about that?
That arm isn't right. It's close. It's close to where it's going to be. He's got a bag of toys on his side here yet. Which is the dark green. Do the handle next.
You know, I'm impressed. Chill Hop is done. I'm going to end it. And I don't remember any ads. Huh.
We'll go see if there's somebody to raid as soon as I cut this out. Because it's time for me to say goodbye. Alright, let me see how this handle goes.
Oh, little fishtail at the bottom. Okay. It was under there. Oh, man. Sort of like this.
Oh, why did you come unthreaded? Okay. To put his bag on, and then the sequins are next.
Great day. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it. And also, Carolyn. I really appreciate Carolyn's mom hanging out too. Thank you. It's been a while. And it was a nice stream. Let's go see who is streaming on Twitch. I'm going to change to, oops. And Sonnet Silence is crochet. I follow her. I haven't seen her for Robe Knitters on. Ply on the Fly. Let's do that.
Split the braid lengthwise.
All right.
You have the entire braid.
We gotta
split it
see if we get
across going this way.
and
One of them you'll keep exactly as it.
all right. Gonna mute that. She's drawing with pens right now, so I'm not sure what's going on. But let's go braid. As soon as I figure out how to do this, I need to be here. Oh, I bet you I can't raid without logging in. You know what? Let's just go see her because I don't think I can raid until I log in again. And I don't have my phone with me for the code. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, alright. Alright, so I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm going to go over and hang out at Robes a little bit. Go say hello to her. It's ROGUE KNITTER. And I will be back Thursday evening. And we'll see probably a lot of spinning. So take care, everybody. Have a good week. And a good middle of the day week tomorrow. And I'll see you later. Bye.